Hello there. My name is Amy Creighton. I'm here at the Barefoot Dragonfly. This is my apothecary studio. I see clients here and I teach classes. I'm a clinical aromatherapist, an aromatic medicine practitioner, and a reflexologist. So I do a few different things. Today I wanted to talk about making an aromastick specifically for quitting nicotine use. So in light of the concerns and considerations, those who are on nicotine products are at a potentially increased risk of not coping very well with COVID-19. It is considered one of the comorbidities or cofactors affecting the respiratory system. So today I wanted to chat with you about that. So if you're trying to quit vaping or smoking or chewing tobacco or something of that nature, I'm your gal, here to help, okay? So you can buy these blank inhalers. We call them aromasticks in the aromatherapy industry. They come in different colors. This one is a kit, a package of 12 on Amazon. And I'm just gonna open these. So they come in three, well, technically 4 parts. I'm gonna use a bright pink one. You can pick any color you want. And I actually recommend doing up a couple different ones so you've got some options. Maybe have one in your pocket somewhere, one in your handbag, or one in the truck or something like this so you can hang on to them. I have washed my husband's aromasticks many times. They will survive the washing machine and the dryer. They're not intended to, but they can if it happens, okay? So don't sweat that. So we've got an outer protective covering. We've got an inner portion, so there's a little hole in the top. And then there's these little vent holes down here on the side. And this is the part you're gonna be actually smelling from, the part where we call it the sniffy stick, if you will. It's got this little butt, a cap, that goes on the bottom, okay? And then an inner wick. Now, some of these may be made out of cotton, other just going to be some sort of like a paper core or something like this. It's a little squishy, and this is what we're going to impregnate with essential oils. Tuck inside here, put the base on, and screw the outer top on, and voila, you have a completed, put together aromastick. So let's look at this piece for now. So I have some gloves here. I don't like to get essential oils on my fingers. The concern here is when we're looking at undiluted essential oils, it can really irritate the skin. It's not particularly helpful. There's no evidence that supports undiluted use is safe. So I like to either wear a pair of gloves when I'm doing it or tuck it inside a little container. So it could be, I'm using basically a plastic shot glass here. So you can put it in a shot glass, you could put it in a small, like a narrow little, like a little bowl like this, an ashtray if you want to, clean, whatever works, right? So we stick it into something, and this is where we will put the essential oils on. Now, I'll give you a little tip here. I have to get into my fridge behind me. That's not something I pulled out in advance. I like to put a drop of a lipid oil on here. It'll help the essential oils sort of hold on to that lipid. It'll keep them from all being volatilized when you're inhaling it. So it'll help kind of keep some there. So it'll make it last a little bit longer for you. So let's get into my little mini fridge here and get, let's see, what do I want? I've got some macadamia nut oil. You can pick a little coconut oil, a little olive oil, some sunflower, whatever you've got on hand. I wouldn't use butter. It's not gonna be shelf stable. We don't leave butter out for a long period of time, right? We want something that's gonna last us for a good 3 or 4 weeks on this, okay? So we will put roughly a drop, and I like to see if I can get it a little closer to the middle of the wick here. So let's see if we can get a drop. There we go. And just give it a moment to kind of soak in. So I've got one drop halfway down, about the middle portion of this. So I'm going to set that lipid aside. Now to choose from different essential oils. There's a lot of options and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this. So I'm just going to give you a couple of different suggestions and you try it, see how you like it, work with it. Some people are going to prefer different scents, different smells, and that's not a bad thing. We're all individual, we're all unique. So pick something that you think you're going to actually enjoy. Don't pick something that's going to be like, wow, this smells like Vicks Vapor Rub, great. I mean, unless you particularly enjoy Vicks Vapor Rub, then go ahead, put eucalyptus on there and be done with it and you're good, right? So I'm going to use a little scratch piece of note paper here. So we're going to call this aromastick number 1. And I like to write down whatever it is that I'm putting in here so that then I know later if it worked, I can repeat this. So I've got a backup on hand. If I didn't like it, I can maybe do some tweaks to it. Okay. So one of the first ones that I really like is black pepper essential oil. Black pepper is going to be the same pepper that we use at the table for seasoning. Black pepper is actually really great. It's got a nice sort of warming sensation in the mouth. Not overly warm. It's not like cinnamon where it's like burns and then your cheeks are red and your throat's kind of red. Like that's too hot. Okay, so this is a gentle warm. It does have a little bit of an analgesic action in the mouth. So as everything's starting to heal, this is going to feel really good on gums and the tongue and just the oral mucosa. It's starting to heal and recover from the nicotine use. This is going to feel really good in the mouth. And one of the interesting things with black pepper is in a smaller study, it was found to be helpful for people who are quitting nicotine. So black pepper's our friend. So we're gonna set him aside. We want to hang on to this guy. Add a little bit of that, but it does smell like pepper. It smells like table pepper. It's not that glamorous. So if you're going to use it every day, multiple times a day, you want something that kind of has either a nice flavor profile or a nice scent to it. We can pair it with a couple different directions. I brought out a little cardamom. I personally really like cardamom. It's got a really nice smell to it. To me, it's a comforting type of scent. Again, a little bit warming. So if you tend to be a little pink in the face, you've got a lot of blood flow up to the face and the neck, and you tend to run a little bit warmer, putting the cardamom with the black pepper is going to be a little overkill. It's going to be a little too hot. You're going to start feeling like you're having hot flashes, and this isn't going to be pretty, okay? So cardamom would be great for those of us who have maybe a little less body weight. We tend to run a little bit cool. Our hands and feet tend to be a little bit cooler towards the end of the day. We maybe have a hard time warming them up. Then the cardamom and the black pepper could be a good fit. So you may have to experiment and do a little thinking. Kind of dig deep and go, oh, what are my patterns? How do I tend to run a little warmer? Do I tend to run a little cooler? So potentially cardamom here. I brought out a little ply, P-L-A-I. The botanical name is Zingiber casumunar. It's in the ginger family. It's not as warming as ginger. Ginger can be overkill for a lot of us. Ginger can feel a little too intense. Maybe nice in a tea, but you may not want it in an aromastick that you're going to be using a lot. So ply is nice that it gives us a little bit of a warm, but not too much. It's not as strongly warming, I find, as cardamom. So might be a potential direction to go there. I did bring out a little ginger CO2, just in case you're one of those people who runs quite cool, then that might be a direction to go. I like a little bit of eucalyptus. Eucalyptus has this action once it's down into the lungs. So once we've breathed it down into the lungs, we brought it down into the lungs, it likes to thin the mucus and get it to move. So it's an expectorant and a mucolytic. And this is actually great when you have a history of smoking, so you've got some nicotine holding on in the lungs, hanging in there, and we want to mobilize this part of the respiratory system to bring that gunk up and out. When I've done this with my clients in the past that have been pretty, I've had pack a day, pack and a half, 2 pack a day smokers, we add a little bit of eucalyptus, and not a lot. I'm not loading this wick with eucalyptus, so this isn't like, here's a bottle, dump it in. It's just a touch. They find that for the first few days, they're coughing up some pretty dark phlegm. So that kind of tarry mucus that comes up, and that's gross, but boy, if it's down here, you don't want it down there, right? So mobilize that, get it up and out. That can be a good direction to go. Little peppermint could be nice if you don't like the scent of eucalyptus. We're all very individual. So if we think about, you know, if grandma was a big fan of eucalyptus and she used eucalyptus all the time and you don't have really fond memories of grandma, eucalyptus is not going to be a good fit, right? You're going to be like thinking about grandma every time? No, that's not going to be pleasant. So not everybody's going to be, that's why as an aromatherapist, we always do bespoke blending. We sit down with our individual and we go, okay, what's going on? Walk me through it. Let's hear your health history. Let's find out what's happening. So eucalyptus could be a maybe. Peppermint could be a maybe. Rosemary could be a nice direction. So think about those 3 as your seniol rich direction potentials. Okay, those could be nice. There's, I brought out a little bit of Kanzea, and this is an Australian essential oil. It's really quite lovely, and I've been using it for a few months now with my aromasticks for my folks who are quitting nicotine. And the Kanzea is kind of nice. It's not as intense as the eucalyptus. It still has that sort of fresh Australian, sort of a mentholy kind of scent to it, but it's not quite as overkill as the eucalyptus is. So that might be a direction to go. Eucalyptus is easier to get your hands on. Kanzea is not that popular here in the States, a little harder to access maybe. So that might be one direction to go. And I'm going to give you 2 more. So I'm sure you're taking some notes here, but I just want to give you some choices so that you can be thinking about brainstorming here. Holy basil, or Tulsi, T-U-L-S-I. So it's Ocimum sanctum. It's in the basil family, like the basil you like to eat for pesto or in pastas. Basil's quite nice. Holy basil has this interesting aroma profile. So it doesn't smell like kitchen basil. It doesn't smell like grandma's Italian cooking here. It's got a really nice aroma to it, and I really like it. Holy basil is one of those that I find likes to hang out with the lungs a little bit, do a little bit of healing work here in the lower respiratory tract. Also has an affinity for the adrenals. And hey, when we're quitting something, you know, when we're trying to switch from this adult coping stress tool here to something else, which that's what nicotine is. We're just using it as a coping tool for most of us, right? So when we switch to a different tool, it's nice having something that kind of comes and hits those adrenals and sort of smooths things out. So I really like the effect that this has on the adrenals and the nervous system as a, okay. And hey, I mean, we could always do a little bit of that, right? So just a little bit. We don't want to overdo holy basil. It does have some dose parameters. We don't like to use large amounts of the essential oil. The tea is actually really nice. So if you can't find it, easy to find the tea nowadays. Everybody's doing Tulsi. Everybody's really loving it. So that's a potential direction for you to go to. Spike lavender, my last one that I'm going to talk to you about today. It's in the lavender family, but spike is like if you could pair a lavender plant with a eucalyptus plant and put it in a bottle. This is pretty magical stuff. So it smells reminiscent of lavender, which is great if you like lavender. If you don't like lavender, or you've been like me and you've smelled lavender so much that you're like, I'm so done, guys. then spike lavender may not be your ally in this one. But if you enjoy lavender, you find it relaxes you, and you like the idea of that sort of eucalyptus movement through the chest, so we want to kind of clear some things, do a little housekeeping in the lungs, the spike lavender might be a really great fit for you. So it's Lavandula latifolia, the botanical name there. So let's do some spike lavender, a little bit of black pepper, and maybe a little bit of that holy basil, okay? So I feel like just for the purposes of this exercise, those sound like fun to me. So I'm gonna make my notes here. So I'm using spike lavender, black pepper, holy basil. Okay, so we're just gonna use 1 drop of our holy basil. I'm gonna hold the end of the wick, and then I'm gonna carefully make sure that I don't drip out, you know. Sometimes this is fun when you're on camera and you're like, I just need a drop, and 7 jump out. And then I'm like, oh yeah, ignore that part. Sometimes these orifice reducers don't really reduce it enough. You feel like the whole bottle wants to jump out at you. And then there's other times when you're sitting there waiting for a really thick viscous oil and you're like, okay, we're gonna be here for a long time. All right, making a note, 1 drop of holy basil. Our black pepper, let's use 3 or maybe 4. Let's do 4, okay. So 1, oops, I got that in the container and not on the wick. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of our black pepper. And then let's do some of our spike here, okay? So spike lavender, and spike lavender is an inexpensive one. It's a nice one. These aren't, I'm not showing you any ones that are really spendy oils, okay? So we want this to be affordable for you to be able to quit. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 drops of our spike lavender, 4 drops of our black pepper, 1 drop of our holy basil. We've got a really nice smelling wick. I really wish that we had figured out smell-o-vision. I mean, it's 2020. Why don't we have this yet, guys, right? Okay, so tucking the wick straight in here. I'm gonna put the base on. Now, you can blow your thumb out doing this, or you can turn it upside down and press into the table until you feel or hear a little click sensation. So this is our outer housing, this is the cap. So when this is sealed, this is fine. This can go in your pocket. Nobody else is gonna smell this on you. They're not gonna be like, wow, why do you smell weird? They won't smell it. This is perfect. You can travel with this. You can take this to the job site. You can take this to the office. This is easy. And you're not dosing your neighbors, and you don't have to worry about like, oh no, is my cubicle made allergic to okay. This is just for you, personal inhaler, just for you. So we screw off the cap. This, again, there's little vent holes on the side and a nasal or mouth hole on the top. Now, typically with aromasticks, what usually we do is we close off one nostril, insert through the other nostril, and this is where we want it to be more cerebral, so we want it to go into the back part of the brain and kind of shift and relax or stimulate or whatever it is that we've got going on. If you've been smoking or vaping or have had some sort of oral component to that, it's kind of nice to have this as a way that you can puff on it. And so you're drawing the essential oils into your mouth. So you get a nice little mouth. The oral sensation is pleasant. So you've got these volatiles dancing across the tongue, the back of the throat coming down. feeling it a little bit down into the lungs. You get a little bit of what we call retronasal olfaction. So you're inhaling from the mouth and exhaling through the nose, which means through back here, it's still gonna hit into the brain. So you're still getting the psychological benefits, the nervous system benefits, while targeting a lot the lower respiratory tract, right? So this is a nice one. Close that up, stick it in your pocket, carry it with you, puff on it as much as you need. For my clients that are, you know, maybe going through quite a lot of vape liquid or a number of cigarettes, it's not going to last more than maybe a week or two, you know, and so you're going to want to make up a couple of them. But honestly, right here, you're looking at probably about $2, maybe $2.50 in materials for this little guy. That's the essential oils. That's buying, you know, a pack, 12 pack of inhalers. That's not bad considering this could last you a week or more. So good consideration. I wish you the best of luck. I do encourage, reach out to your local aromatherapist. You can find us here in the States. We have the Alliance of International Aromatherapists. They have an online directory. The National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy has an online directory, and the Aromatherapy Registration Council also has an online directory. So you can reach out to one of those three. I'll put links in the description here, so you can click on those. Find a local aromatherapist. We love having people reach out and go, I'm trying to quit. Can you make me an aromastick? I watched this video on YouTube. I don't know. I'm trying. So give it a shot. Reach out to an aromatherapist. Any local one would be happy to whip something up for you. It doesn't take very long. As you've seen, most of what I've been doing is talking. This is a 5-minute project. And under the current situation, under COVID-19, we would love to help you reduce your chances of needing to be on a ventilator. And the fewer people that have to be hospitalized for this, the better. So let's all work together and yeah, see if you can find somebody in your area. If you can't, get your supplies and make your own. So if you've got questions, feel free to reach out in the comments. My website's thebarefootdragonfly.com. I take emails. Be happy to try and answer any questions that you may have related to how do I do this? Can you walk me through it, Amy? Let me know. Thank you.